The evolution of market and finance. It's going to be presented by Thibaud, and Thibaud is the guy that you want to have in your corner if you're looking to make finance tech easy and efficient. As CEO of Mobilexpense, he's been helping companies of all sizes scale faster and smarter with expense management solutions. With 15 years of experience working with big names like SAP, IBM, Thibaud's got a ton of great insights in how to solve businesses' challenges and with rich tech. Welcome, Thibaud. So excited to have you. The stage is all yours.
Thank you so much.
That's yours. Take it away.
Thank you. So again, thank you, Chris, for the introduction. Really grateful to be here. The expense management market has undergone a significant transformation in recent years, driven by digitization, automation, the increasing demand for real-time insights. So what really started as a manual, time-consuming process has evolved into what today is a seamless, tech-driven solution. We integrate AI, we use cloud platforms, it's all mobile first. Organizations today expect more than just cost tracking. They seek proactive tools that enhance compliance, improve productivity. They want to be offered data-driven financial insights. At Mobilexpense, we are committed to leading this evolution, empowering businesses of all sizes to manage expenses smarter and more efficiently. But before we go deeper, let me tell you briefly who we are at Mobilexpense. We specialize in simplifying expense management. We serve businesses of all sizes, enterprise, mid-market, small and medium businesses, with solutions that automate everything from receipt capture to compliance checks. We operate across Europe and beyond, helping companies reduce time spent on expenses while staying compliant with local laws and regulations. Our mission is simple: make expense management easier and smarter for businesses everywhere. So today I would like to talk about the reason why Mobilexpense is a growing business, why expense management is a growing business. We are a growing business because we provide a solution to the many complexities within expense management. I'm just going to call out a few. Manual processes, human error, setting up policies, preventing fraud, any kind of system integration, managing compliance, real-time visibility, the whole employee experience, getting to timely and correct reimbursements, handling different payment methods of expenses. Today's expense management isn't just about processing receipts. It's become a complex workflow that needs to balance compliance, control, and transparency. And let's not forget, employees now expect real-time insights to their reimbursements, which adds more pressure to an already difficult task. So for businesses operating across multiple regions, different countries have different tax rules, labor laws, and reporting requirements. This means that finance teams not only manage expenses, but also make sure they comply with all these regulations. Expense management is about governing financial resources flowing between companies and their employees, ultimately impacted by fiscal, labor, and accounting laws. These domains are still highly fragmented within the European Union. More than 30 different countries, leading to a variety of different accounting rules, compliance requirements, tax implications, potential tax exemptions, benefits, reporting requirements, and so on. This forces multinationals to implement localized expense management policies, allowances, any kind of spend caps to minimize tax burden on their employees, maximize spend control, and improve VAT recoverability. Mobilexpense was founded in the year 2000. This is, by the way, our first website. It was already a forward-thinking company that had an approach to simplify and automate expense management for businesses. Despite mobile phones being at that time incapable of handling expenses on the go, the company had the foresight to include mobile in its branding, Mobilexpense, recognizing the future importance of mobile devices in business operations. Since its inception, Mobilexpense has consistently been a frontrunner in technology, leveraging cloud-based architecture, AI, automation, and a strong focus on global compliance to stay ahead in the evolving world of expense management. Let's take a step back and have a quick look on how expense management has evolved over the last 2 decades. In the early 2000s, it was all about manual data entry and paper receipts. A simple web user interface would do the trick. But it wasn't until the 2010 that things really start to shift. Apps started trending and software as a service became the new software delivery model where applications are hosted on the cloud and accessed by users over the internet. Instead of purchasing and installing software on individual computers or servers, with SaaS, users subscribe to the software and access it via a web browser. Easy as that. From 2012, mobile apps really took center stage. It was a big break because suddenly expenses could be submitted on the go. 2015 onwards, expense management benefited from localization technologies like Google Maps, and we could digitize mileages in the app instead of customers performing mileage calculations in spreadsheets, which are error-prone anyway. In 2016, the expense management process became even more touchless, thanks to the scanning technology called OCR. Essentially, OCR enables machines to read text from images or printed material and turn it into digital text that can be edited, searched, and stored electronically. A major advance. In 2019, we were able to add daily allowance into our solutions thanks to a state-of-the-art calculation engine. Then 2020, we added data integration possibilities through APIs. These APIs are connecting financial and expense management tools, like connecting Mobilexpense with ERPs, to automatically reconcile expenses and receipts. Soon after, we delivered real-time data analysis. Real-time data analysis for expense management is increasingly crucial for businesses to monitor and control spending, identify certain patterns, and optimize the operations. And the latest, proud to say, addition are the payment cards. Payment cards for expense management offer business significant benefits, including better control, fraud reduction, simplified reporting, while all improving employee satisfaction, hugely important, by eliminating the need for personal spending on business-related expenses. These cards, particularly when integrated with advanced expense management software, enhance operational efficiency and provide real-time insights into corporate spending. That brings us, in the end of my timeline, to 2024. So, where are we now? And what's coming in the future of expense management? Looking ahead, the future of expense management is about two things: automation and visibility. AI will continue to play a huge role, not just in automating processes, but in predicting and preventing errors before they happen. Real-time visibility in expenses will help companies make smarter financial decisions on the fly instead of relying on data weeks or months old. Compliance will be built into the system, allowing companies to adapt to new laws and regulations without skipping a beat. And ultimately, expense management will become a completely touchless process. Expenses will be captured, approved, and reimbursed automatically. So as we've seen, expense management has come a long, long way. It's faster, smarter, and more efficient than ever. The road ahead will require even more flexibility, especially as regulations continue to change. The companies that thrive will be the ones that embrace automation and AI early, giving them the tools to stay compliant and in control while reducing the manual workload for their teams. So the question is, are you ready to take your expense management to the next level?
All right, Thibaud, that was incredible. Thank you so much for sharing so many great insights. I do have a couple of questions here for you coming in, so let me just prepare those. Here we go. So there's a pretty hot topic around AI.
Exactly.
A lot of people are talking about it. The market's talking about it. What and when are we going to integrate AI into the Mobilexpense products?
That's a great question. I've touched upon it in my pitch, but it's really important to understand for people that Mobilexpense has been front running. So for us, AI is nothing new really. We've adopted AI in the products already years ago. And we see many more opportunities to continue to use AI to make the product more efficient, faster, more performant. I think there's always a balance to be struck between what finance teams want, which means correctness. The system needs to work properly. And of course, all the creativity and the freedom AI can bring to the end user to make their life more simple and easier. In the end, they want to have swift and correct reimbursements happening while remaining compliant. And AI for sure can make the life easier for both finance teams as for the employees.
Interesting. If we go back in time and just look at like what have you seen like the adoption of digital expense solutions, how it's evolved over the past few years and so forth?
I can say it's really interesting. So as I went through my timeline, by the way, you saw mobile popping up, and then my question was a few years ago, like, how many people are really using the mobile app, which is actually a basic thing, only available since 2014, 15, right? And we see like people still, have sometimes some hesitation to change to new ways to adopt the technology. So yeah, as we can push a lot new innovation, and we do continuously, but it's also important that we help our end users learn to embrace and adopt the new technologies like OCR scanning, like the mobile app on the go, or maybe provide more trust to finance teams, and they can have more auto approvals in the system without needing to check everything personally, right? So it's also a bit about change management, I think. But for sure, technology is there, it's available, and we make it fully available for our customers to adopt.
I mean, there's one piece, if a company's like struggling with balancing costs, from just naturally, I mean, the first thing one would look at is maybe travel.
Yeah.
How are European companies balancing cost control with the need for travel and employee flexibility today, do you think?
I think since COVID, we came a long way, of course, in that sense, right? Now, already seeing a few years after COVID, we see a lot of the new ways of traveling or new ways employees are working for companies are still in place. Like, I think during COVID, many people moved away from the big cities, started work remotely. I think, of course, many people came back to the city, but not all. I think employers are more open and flexible to see where people need to be working, how active should they be, how many times should they come into the office. And secondly, we also see many employees taking the advantages of that liberty to combine work and pleasure. They call it pleasure, where people say like, I'm going to work 1 week remote, I'm going to extend it 1 week of holiday with my family. Or maybe want to go to an offsite with the office and then spending a weekend with the family and the kids in the same city. So all that is, I think, a big advantage to everybody, having more liberties to combine work with pleasure. And I think companies are adopting well.
I mean, I love that. I'm gonna steal that pleasure comment. I think that's a great one. If a company is starting off, let's say like they're in their evolution of this, so they're kind of like thinking, okay, this could be something we want to do. What would be your advice for companies starting their expense management their whole transformation in this whole topic today?
Yeah, a good question. So first of all, like, we can set up customers in like merely days to set up a certain process. I think it all starts with thinking of what do you want, how do you want to set up a certain policy, and so on and so on. What we do see with customers who mature through using our platform is that the more they mature, the more they become more efficient, the more they're able to do more automation, tweak rules to make them run faster, which is really key. Secondly, we also see the platform is really helpful in fraud detection and fraud prevention. So also there, we see customers, maybe not in the first run of implementation, but in the second or third run, implement more tools, tweaks, and processes to make sure they capture that in time.
Wow. I mean, there's so many things you can explore. I know that a lot of top management, it's all about results.
Exactly.
So can you share maybe some ROIs or some tangible benefits if an organization is realized that they want to really implement like an expense management solution?
So the nice thing about expense management is that the ROI is really clear. We also use certain ROI calculators that make this clear for the customer. I think what customers really appreciate on expense management is the ROI is much bigger than the cost or the time to implement. So specific numbers can be given for specific cases, but in general, people see a quite nice ROI after implementation. And also that ROI continues to increase over time. Again, as customers become more mature, are more able to smartly implement the right process and to balance the fact of control versus not burdening employees with a lot of manual entry. So yeah, it's really interesting business. Customers super happy. And by the way, many of the customers we see, many prospects are still like running a manual, paper-based, tedious, time-consuming process. So you can imagine the ROI benefit of digitizing only that part of the process.
Interesting. I got one more question for you.
Of course.
What are the most sought after features or integrations from customers in this space?
So we're in expense management really sitting a bit between what I call finance and HR, right? So to have a working expense management process, you want to have a seamless connection with service providers like payment providers, banks, VT recovery solutions, and of course travel, because travel and expense is a big thing together. On the other hand, we also need to have integrations with ERP and accounting systems, HR and payroll systems, and now we also integrate with many digital and mobility providers, right? So in terms of integrations, we integrate with all of them to make sure it's a coherent process. People get full visibility on travel spend, business spend, and we can make sure that correct and swift reimbursement can happen through integration with ERP, accounting, HR, payroll systems. So all of those are very relevant for expense management.
Wow. Thibaud, it's been an absolute blast. Thank you so much for sharing all your great insights. It was a pleasure having you.
Thanks for having me.